Fame, rumors, and hatred often lead to insanity, especially for a dancer in the 1940s. Lili St was one of them. Not only did she divorce countless men, but she also attempted to take her own life more than twice. Let's dive into what led her to such a critical situation. Who was Lili St? Born as Marie Frances Van Schock on June 3, 1918, Lili St. was a bubbly American burlesque dancer. Lili was brought up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Her half-sister Rosemary Minsky was also a burlesque dancer under the stage name Daddy Orlando, appearing on the Ellen DeGeneres Show in 2004. The sisters, along with Barbara Moffett, were raised by their grandparents. Throughout her youth, Lili started taking ballet lessons and began to dance professionally as a chorus line member at the Florentine Gardens in Hollywood. In the beginning, Lili had to beg her manager at a club to let her do a solo act. From this self-choreographed act, she eventually landed a bit part at a club called the Music Box in San Francisco, with the Duncan sisters. It was here that she found a dancer's salary was only a small fraction of the featured star's salary, with the only difference being that the featured star appeared nude. Lili's burlesque career. In the late 1940s and most of the 1950s, St. Cyr along with Gypsy Rose Lee and Anne Carrillo was the most recognized act in striptease. Lili St. Cyr's stage name was a patronymic of the French aristocracy, which she first used when booked as a nude performer in Las Vegas. St. Cyr was referenced in two songs that were both stage and movie musicals. In the song Zip from the 1940 musical Pal Joey by Richard Rodgers and Lawrence Hart, the singer rhetorically asks at the climax of the song, "Who is Lili St. Cyr?" St. Cyr's reputation in the stripping and burlesque world was that of quality and high-class performer, unlike others such as Rosa La Rose, who flashed her pubic hair. 2 years after Lili started her career as a chorus line dancer, her stripping debut was held at the Music Box, in an Ivan Fainova production. The producer had not even seen her perform. All it took were Lili's striking looks to win him over. To tell the truth, the act was a disaster, but instead of firing her, Fainova put together a new one which became Lili's trademark. Over the years, many of Lili's acts were memorable, with names like The Wolf Woman, Afternoon of a Faun, The Ballet Dancer, In a Persian Harem, The Chinese Virgin, as well as Suicide, where she tried to persuade a straying lover by revealing her body. Lili was known not only for her bathtub, but elaborate sets of mirrors, vanities, and hat racks. She variously performed as Cinderella, a matador, Salome, a bride, a suicidal girl, Cleopatra, and Dorina Gray. Lili's work from 1944 to 1951 at Montreal's Gaiety Theatre led author and filmmaker William Weintraub to later describe her as Montreal's most famous woman. Quebec's Catholic clergy condemned her act and was against her at all odds. The clergy's turmoil was echoed by the Public Morality Committee, which later arrested Lili and charged her with behavior that was immoral, obscene, and indecent. She was let go with no charges, but the public authorities, unfortunately, closed down the Gaiety Theatre. Lili continued with pin-up photography, especially for photos taken by Bruno Bernard, known professionally as Bernard of Hollywood, a premier glamour photographer of Hollywood's golden era. Bernard said that she was his favorite model and referred to her as his muse. She also tried acting. While performing in 1947 at Chiro's nightclub in Hollywood, Lili was arrested once more by police and taken to court by a customer who considered her act lewd and lascivious. Represented by the infamous Hollywood attorney Jerry Giesler in court, Lili insisted to the jury that her act was refined and elegant. As Lili pointed out, what she did was slip off her dress and her brassiere, tried on a hat, then, undressed discreetly behind her maid, stepped into a bubble bath, splashed around, and emerged, more or less dressed. After just 80 minutes of deliberation by the jury, Lili was let go. During her career, Lili starred in several movies, but a proper acting career never really materialized. In 1953, with the help of Howard Hughes, Lili landed her first acting job in a major motion picture in The Son of Sinbad. However, the film was condemned by the Catholic Legion of Decency. Lili also had a role in the movie The Naked and the Dead, released in 1958. In this film, Lili plays Jersey Lily, a dancer in a Honolulu nightclub, and the girlfriend of a soldier who boasts to his pals that he has a picture of her painted inside his ground sheet. But sadly, Lili's movie career was short-lived because she typically settled for playing a secondary role as a dancer or playing herself. Her dancing is featured prominently in two Irving Klaw films titled Varieties and Teaserama. Lili St. personal life. Although Lili was the most unclear toward the end of her career, her name came up regularly in 1950s tabloids. She was mostly known for having many husbands, and she attempted suicide. Lili was married 6 times. Her best-known husbands were motorcycle speedway rider Cordy Milne, musical comedy actor and former ballet dancer Paul Valentine, restaurateur Armando Orsini, and actor Ted Jordan. In 1989, one of St. Cyr's husbands, Ted Jordan, wrote a biography of Marilyn Monroe entitled Norma Jean, My Secret Life with Marilyn Monroe, in which Jordan claimed that St. Cyr and Monroe had an affair. The claim is both widely disparaged by Monroe's biographers and widely upheld by St. Cyr's. Liza Dawson, the editor for William Morrow, publisher of the Jordan book, makes a related claim in an interview with Newsday in 1989. Dawson stated that Marilyn very much patterned herself on Lili St. Cyr, her way of dressing, of talking, her whole persona. Norma Jean was a mousy, brown-haired girl with a high squeaky voice, and it was from Lili St. Cyr that she learned how to become an erotic goddess. Lili didn't spend the wealth she earned during her heyday. Many women like her were not supported by their husbands or family. So, when Lili retired from the stage in the 1970s, she began a lingerie business that she focused on until she passed away. Similar to Fredericks of Hollywood, the undie world of Lili St. Cyr offered costumes for strippers and even personal excitement for ordinary women. Her catalogs featured photos or drawings of her modeling each article, lavishly detailed descriptions, and hand-selected fabrics. Her marketing for scanty panties advertised them as ideal for streetwear, stage, or photography. In 1981, actress Cassandra Peterson became famous for her character Elvira, who achieved her trademark cleavage wearing a Lili St. Cyr deep plunge bra. Lili's later years were quieter, just her and some cats in a modest Hollywood apartment. She sadly passed away in Los Angeles, California, on January 29, 1999, aged 80. She never had children, and even told Mike Wallace in an interview that had she wanted then she would have adopted one already. Following her death and a renewed interest in burlesque, especially in Betty Page, crowds of new fans rediscovered some of the dancers in Irving Klaw's photos and movies. In 2001, A&E produced a special episode on burlesque that included a segment on Lili St. Cyr. Which FTH facts caught your interest the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out the next video in this series.